It's almost like this song is too ambitious, like it's too much going on. I bought over 445s on eBay. Now I'm going through them, cleaning each one, and looking for lost gems. And the next one is a band called Brooklyn Bridge. The A-side, I believe, is Worst That Could Happen. The B-side is Your Kite, My Kite. Now, this is on Buddah Records, which is generally a bubblegum label. It's also a gorgeous label. I just love this label, the Buddah Records label, the famous Buddha statue silhouette thing, and then all these like kind of psychedelic wheel of colors, very pastel-y. Anyway, so this Brooklyn Bridge, I don't know what it is. It might be kind of a bunch of studio musicians doing bubblegum music, which is often what these things were, or it might be a real band. This may have been a big hit. Worst That Could Happen was written by a Jim Webb, and I don't know if that's the same as famous Jimmy Webb, who wrote Wichita Lineman and lots of other stuff. It also says Johnny Rivers music. The other side was written by Tony Romeo, and it says Pocket Full of Tunes, or Tones. All kinds of interesting little names and phrases on here. I imagine, Your Kite, My Kite, and Worst That Could Happen. Worst That Could Happen is not a very interesting sounding song title. Your Kite, My Kite could be a stupid novelty silliness, or it could be something really cool. So I have hopes that this is going to be friendly pop, and maybe pretty good. The continent of Atlantis. Wow, stirring. Hey, that sounds familiar. Okay, this may be a big hit, or something that I've heard before, sort of. I'll never get married, that's not my scene. An anti-marriage song with very dramatic chord changes and super dramatic production. That kind of claustrophobic, echoey 60s sound it's got to it. The middle eight. The drums, boy, it really took the 1970s to make drums come up in the mixes. It's almost like this song is too ambitious, like it's too much going on to really be as anthemic as they're hoping it would be. But, see, there's just so much going on. They put a lot into this. This was a big production. Wonder how many days they were in the studio doing this. Never gonna get married. My kite is bright blue. Very sunshiny pop. Very 1967, 68, something like that. With the falsetto singing! Hey, great. Great little song. Is this the Tony Romeo side? Who is Tony Romeo? Hey, now you can hear the drums a little better on this side. These things in these, like the A side and this side, the instruments just come in sort of at random places. Like now we're gonna have a big organ flourish. Whee! You wonder why the organ doesn't sort of last through the whole song. And now the flute comes back. Very high and trilly and ambition, thy name is Brooklyn Bridge. And they're not really driven by guitars all that much. It's much more about the organ and the singing, really. I'm glad the drums are more prominent on this one. The obligatory fade. As I go through all these 45s from eBay, I generally am hoping for psychedelic stuff or garage rock stuff, kind of, in that vein. This is not exactly that, but it's pleasant enough, and it's going to go in my keep pile. This is good. I like both of them, especially like Your Kite, My Kite, because it's so high and frilly and trilly and like high pitched, the flutes and the organ and the voices. Everything's high, and then the much more dramatic Worst That Could Happen. I don't know if this was a hit. I think it was the A-side. Let's go see if I can figure out more about Brooklyn Bridge and see if Jim Webb or Tony Romeo was in the band. What does it have to do with Johnny Rivers? Is it the Johnny Rivers? As it turns out, Brooklyn Bridge was an 11-piece band centered around the vocals of one Johnny Maestro, who'd been a recording artist for several years. Someone commented that an 11-piece band would be more difficult to sell than the Brooklyn Bridge, hence the name. Worst That Could Happen was indeed written by the Jimmy Webb and was originally recorded by the Fifth Dimension. Brooklyn Bridge's version went to number 3 in early 1969. Tony Romeo, incidentally, was a songwriter who did stuff for a bunch of artists like the Partridge Family and the Cowsills. He also wrote commercial jingles. Where is the line, I ask you? And yes, it was the Johnny Rivers that owned the publishing company that did this single. Brooklyn Bridge lasted until 1972 as a recording unit, slimming down to 5 members and releasing 4 albums and several singles. Both Worst That Could Happen and Your Kite, My Kite were on the group's first self-titled album from 1968. Wow, alright, that was pretty cool. That was not exactly my thing, but kind of my thing.